Hello everyone. I'm going to do something a little different. I am going to start a segment of videos where I invite you into the privacy of my psyche to help me analyze dreams. I would love to do this through the Jungian style, so I'm going to try to do that, but I invite any sort of interpretations that you have, any symbols that you can decode. And these are actual dreams, and these are the most recent dreams that I've had. I might do just one because I think that the analysis will take a bit of time, and I'll do other videos with the two others that I've had. So last night, I had a dream where I went back to my childhood home to visit. It was almost like I was living somewhere else and I kind of wanted to get away, or there was just some reason I wanted to go back. I was in my childhood bedroom and I looked out the window and saw that it was snowing, like there was a winter storm. And I was a bit dismayed as I would be stuck for a couple of days. But then I reminded myself that was what I was planning anyhow. I was sitting on the floor with papers I needed to grade. One of my students had attached several post-it notes that had messages on them. The post-it notes were sky blue and others were dark blue. The messages were basically encouraging me to keep up with grading so I would feel better, but they were in like a friendly, affectionate way, and I felt very loved and happy reading them. Just like I thought, oh, this is so cute that this was like attached to a paper. I went into the living room and saw my parents on the couch watching TV. They didn't look at me, but one said, "They say we as parents don't do X or Z, but there is food still in the oven if you want it." I can't really remember what X or Z was. I think they said something, but I can't remember. So I walked back to the kitchen thinking I might make a plate, and saw that the counters and stovetop just everywhere was filled with trays of kind of like these pizza trays of some kind of white rice or potato mush, and then next to like a brown ground beef mush. It didn't look very appetizing now that I'm thinking about it, but I kind of just saw it as like, I didn't really have any emotion about it. I just kind of accepted it in the dream. I saw some takeout boxes of fries, like kind of like the boxes you get from any fast food place where you can order fries. And I thought that this was a weird way to serve fries when you're just at your house, but I thought I might take a fry, but when I started to reach for one, I saw that they were like swimming in oil, so I didn't. I went to a cupboard to get a clean plate, but when I opened the cupboard, I saw that all the plates inside they already had food on them. So I took one out and I tipped it to, I guess I was kind of examining it, and salt fell over the side, and oil was about to fall over the side. So I made sure that it didn't. And but basically I just wondered how I was supposed to prepare myself a plate of food if all the plates already had food on them. And that's pretty much the dream. So let me know in the comments below what you think. The first thing that I notice is that the setting, if you have a dream that's set in your childhood home, it can symbolize revisiting your past. Especially, it can show that you're doing the work of looking at psychological roots or unresolved feelings from your early life. It reflects a need, like your dreams always tell you kind of what you need to do, and this, like, where that need kind of or issue originated from. So it's a return to foundational aspects of yourself, maybe memories or emotional patterns or false beliefs or thoughts that you learned in your upbringing. And it could also indicate in a more positive way but I'm less likely to think this, that you are reconnecting with a more innocent, authentic part of yourself. But for sure, you are reconnecting with a younger part of yourself, like your inner child. I think we have many inner children, all at various ages, that need help. And so anytime also you're sitting on the floor, that can indicate that you, like, even if you appear to be older in your dreams, that it represents, like, because that's what you do when you're a kid, right? You sit on the floor. So it could indicate you at a younger age, that you'd picked up sort of this issue in when you were young. So snow outside, I think, is really interesting. I don't really know what that means, but just kind of drawing off of experience in waking life, like when there's snow outside or there's a winter storm, then we're usually like staying inside and pausing or maybe still. It could indicate like a sense of quiet or isolation, or even being stuck, which I explicitly like felt in the dream. So the fact that I planned to be stuck is kind of interesting, and it might indicate that some kind of period of reflection or inner stillness is necessary. Yeah, so anything else you can figure out, let me know about snow and winter in that season. So, I mean, it wasn't like, I know it can be sunny. It wasn't sunny. It was like, it was the evening time also, which I think is also maybe an indication that when the house wasn't dark, right? But the outside was dark. And so maybe that indicates like the unconscious or something that needs more clarification. So grading papers, I mean, a lot of times I don't know if this is like just material that's being used to indicate something, because I am a professor and I do have to grade papers. But in any case, it represents maybe like work or responsibilities that I have to do that might be like weighing on my mind, especially because the messages on the Post-it notes were encouraging me to do my work. I think that the shades of blue are kind of interesting. I don't know a lot about the symbolism of numbers or colors, but I know that's like an area rife with meaning. When I think of blue, I think of it as being like calm, and also maybe having to do with communication, like the throat chakra. So it's interesting that there are light and dark shades. I definitely don't remember. I looked at the light Post-it notes first, and then I noticed that, oh, there are dark ones as well. But I don't remember like which messages or what messages were on either one. But it could represent like a different emotional tones, like maybe like these messages or this message of like needing to do work has like an optimistic side, and it has like maybe a more serious side. So it could be that, I mean, in real life, I am feeling very overwhelmed by this, by how much I've taken on this semester. So I don't know, but I think that I really like when meanings and symbols can be a little more deeper and not necessarily like a literal interpretation of what's happening in your life that you already are conscious of, because dreams are supposed to indicate what you're not yet conscious of. So I think the trickiest elements in my dreams are the ones that do relate to my work as being a professor, and the work that I do with that, with academia and school. Just because it's so on the nose, I can't really see what it might mean apart from that. So I think that, you know, also the feelings that I felt, you know, very loved, or I was having fun with the messages. I think that it kind of like symbolizes an area of support, like that happens in my work. Like I do love my work. And so it is a place where I feel supported, and I feel like there is the space for me to be who I am in a confident way. And, I have a very encouraging environment with my colleagues. So it could represent sort of the reality, or maybe even a desire for validation and acknowledgement in my work. So, because I enjoyed reading the notes, it could mean that even though I'm feeling overwhelmed, there's a part of me that really appreciates the work as well. I don't want to harp on that, but it seems like maybe, I don't know, that's all that I can really figure from this. Yeah, so I guess going back to the next element. So, parents in the living room watching TV, so they're not engaging with me. So it symbolizes, I think, emotional distance and a lack of acknowledgement that I might have picked up on when I was younger. So my parents, basically, like my dad, I would say, is emotionally unavailable. Even though he's very kind and sweet, he just never really engaged with me. In, I guess, like an emotional or intellectual way. And my mother, like, because I think she has like narcissistic personality disorder, she wasn't really able to like see me as a person who has needs, and herself as a person who needed to like meet those needs. She was usually like maybe ignoring me, or if she was interacting with me, it was to meet her own emotional needs. So, so I think that there's a lot of like, so the fact that my parents are not acknowledging me really, but they're saying something to me in the dream, like, just makes a lot of sense. So they don't turn to greet me, but they still offer me food. So it kind of like implies a passive form of care or support. And it just represents basically, again, not to like harp on it, but a dynamic where, I received physical, practical care from my family, but not the emotional or psychological attention I craved. So food is always interesting in a dream. I think that sometimes it could actually be telling you what you should or shouldn't eat. So I think it's just interesting that this food was plentiful, but it was unsatisfying. The textures did look like kind of mushy, and the fries were oily. So it kind of indicates that nourishment was available, but it wasn't necessarily appetizing or fulfilling. And again, like you could say that this was, so what was offered, so if food was, or practical kind of material elements were provided for me, it shows that, when I was younger, I couldn't be distracted by that. There was, on some level, I knew that, I wasn't being holistically like nourished. So the plates in the cupboard being filled with food is kind of a mystery to me. Like, I think that in the dream that would make me feel kind of overwhelmed, or like, even though there's nourishment around me, I still like didn't know how. It was still up to me to, fix myself a plate, and I wasn't like, the family didn't necessarily like call me to dinner or wait for me to eat with them. No one gave me the food, because sometimes like when you're a child, your parent like gives you the plate of food. So I didn't necessarily know how to use what was provided to me to nourish myself. So I don't know if I can, what else I can say, just that, yeah, like, even though there's food, like, it's not serving my needs. So the overall tone, I feel like, is kind of like frustration, but quiet frustration and confusion. Like I'm surrounded by things that should be nourishing or supportive, like my parents are there, the food is there, it's cold outside, but it's like, I'm inside the house. And so, being inside the house during a winter storm is supposed to be kind of like warm and cozy, right? But yet, even through all of this, there's a sense of distance and inaccessibility. So it might mirror attention that's still in my life, because everything really in your dreams, even though, it's my parents are there or it's my student, every figure represents a part of your psyche. So the way my parents were acting towards me in my dream means that there's a part of me that's still that is living, that is embodying that energy or that dynamic, right? And the student isn't like a student that's separate from me. That student represents maybe my own thoughts, or sort of the idea that my work is both overwhelming but fulfilling, like in my perspective, right? So, because you might have like an ex, lover show up in your dream, but your dream, like our unconscious or subconscious, I still don't know which word I really need to use, but uses the material that it has to get the messages across, right? So you're gonna see the content in your dreams is often going to reflect or match the content in your waking life, but that's just because that's what your psyche has to work with. That's one possibility, I guess. So overall, it's kind of hard for me to sort of summarize. I guess there's maybe two tensions. The tension of, work and being overwhelmed in work, but also having that be the place that I am nourished. And it's true, because in my actual life, really all the people that I know are my colleagues and my students. That is my life. I'm spending all of my time preparing for lectures, sometimes grading, I should grade more, and just going to work and coming back from work. And it takes up all of my time and space, but that is where I get all of my social interaction as well. So barring maybe this YouTube channel and when I'm going to the market or something, which might be, you might hear that and think that's pathetic, but that's just giving you an insight. So maybe my dreams are telling me that I do need to find other outlets, other people that aren't my colleagues and my students, that I'm interacting with. And I know that that's true, because your work can't be everything. I have a problem with making my work my everything. And then also just kind of the reiteration that, that's the work that I have to do. If I felt abandoned or ignored in a deep, meaningful way when I was younger, then I have to heal that part of me. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this. Maybe me interpreting my dream can kind of help you interpret your own dreams, because you might see symbols in your similar symbols. I think people dream about their childhood homes a lot. And any other ideas you have, let me know. Thanks, and dream well.